Anyone here has a phone? I imagine most of the people here have. Anyone has an Apple phone? Android? Alright, so after this TED Talk, you guys know who to fight. But realistically, why do we have this division between us about which phone we have? Apple or Android? Why? Well, one of the main differences is the fact that they use a different operating system. But what is an operating system? What does it mean? An operating system really is a system in which your device operates in. Fascinating how they really word that. It's crazy. But much like our devices do, we also have an operating system for ourselves. We build systems, whether consciously or subconsciously, to help us do our tasks, whether it's building a schedule to go to work or school, or building self-discipline with what we do. But much like our devices, though, we progress with time. Our devices and operating systems, they develop further and further. We have to have more devices for more things. But unlike our operating systems, our own operating systems doesn't develop. We could tend to stay stuck in it. And that's when it backfires. Let's take an example. Anyone here a Habs fan? Well, being a Habs fan myself, I can say that it's been pretty tough this season. Yeah. Well, for the most part, they're dead last, unfortunately. Albeit to many rushes, not generating enough plays, it was abysmal. One of the main problems was their head coach, unfortunately. To solve this, they replaced him with their own, the new head coach, Martin St. Louis, born here in Quebec. The problem with the old head coach is that the system was inefficient. Much like our operating systems on our phones, coaches use the systems for a reason, to make plays, develop their players, and maximize their potential. Though, with Martin St. Louis, he brought a new life, and not agreeing with systems. Looking at the statistics, they were 8-30-7 before the change, and after they're 12-17-4. I'm not much of a math guy, but I think that 12 is bigger than 8. Needless to say, changing the system helped them to improve. But what change did he bring? Well, in the first ever interview he had with Montreal Canadiens, he set himself on the idea of systems. In systems, they feel that you box players in to be in a certain spot, and sometimes you don't allow them to make certain reads. A concept is more of playing with a little bit more instinct with the ideas of how we want to be as a team. Now, there is structure in concepts. With players, you can see structure, but with systems, you box players in only things they can do. The meaning of this really lies down with the production. Habs, for the Habs fans here, you can see that under Martin St. Louis, the Habs became more instinctive. They've made more plays. Goal production increased. Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield scored more goals and assists. It's been great. Granted, still a losing record, but albeit an improvement. Replacing an old system with a fresh new concept really helped. But what is a system? I've been talking about it so much. Using our best friend Merriam-Webster dictionary online, a system is defined as an organized set of doctrines, ideas, or principles usually intended to explain the arrangement or working of a systematic whole. Big words aside, it basically boils down to ideas and a system just to fulfill a task. Again, people do this by making schedules or having a routine around a particular task. I myself built a system surrounded to school in the past. I'm sure a lot of people relate to this, or do the same with work. Now, this can be this is good. It's good to make schedules. It's good to make these types of systems, but too much of a healthy thing is an unhealthy thing, much like the Habs. Now, with systems, overusing them and lead to bad things. Let's take an example with school. How many of you guys get 8 hours of sleep? Not many. I know, myself included. I'm sorry, Mom, please don't kill me for this. But, you see, this is an example. People say you need to get 8 hours of sleep, but we don't get it. Of course, there's many things that lead to it. But how many times have you been up late at night studying or focusing for that exam the next day? Or procrastinating on TikTok when writing a speech? I promise that's something wrong. But realistically, why does this happen? Well, for a lot of times, it could be overusing a system. Another example is with workplace burnout. A recent study by Gallup, an American-based analytical company, surveyed a lot of people, and employees, at least 76% of the employees said that they experience burnout at least sometimes. Imagine that. 3 out of 4 people working to make money, to feed their families, to have fun in their lives, they experience burnout. Incredible. It's astonishing, actually. Why should we face such pressure? Of course, it doesn't do it justice to generalize it to how someone thinks with the system. Though, with the idea of mental health, it's really important to understand that building a system or a mindset is really important. I'll give you a personal example of mine. I'm sure the pandemic has been tough on everyone, and it's also been really tough on me. Before the pandemic, I'd actually built a system about school. I was preparing to apply to decision. And building a system surrounded with school and studying actually led me to not really fulfill my own needs, my desires. I just locked myself in my room, studying every day, and staying up late. It was not fun. The house of cards of my own mental health came crashing down with the gust of wind of the pandemic. My idea of self-worth was based off of academic validation. But when it became to just ones and zeros on a screen and not seeing my friends every day, and just granted, I could still text them, but it's not the same. It's clear that I was burnt out of my own system. It was only then when I reached out to my loving parents and my friends that I could never thank enough that I developed more ideas and helped myself. My Indian mother actually taught me mantras and has a little calendar of mantras that she would flip every day to teach me something new. Her friends gave me concepts and ideas and mindsets that I could follow on through. And this helped me as a whole become a better person and focused on myself. And here's the thing. I've been talking about mindsets. What is it? A mindset, again, using our best friend Merriam-Webster Dictionary online, is a mental attitude or inclination. Generally put, is thinking with an idea. Having a goal and a basis can help you have a mindset. I'll give you some examples of mindsets. Taking things one day at a time. That helps you slow things down. Focus on the now. Focus on what you have to do. And be mindful about yourself. Enjoying the small things in life. Life is too short. We go to things and we do things without thinking of the small things that happen. Enjoying the small things in life allows us to really slow time down and appreciate the moments where we have with our friends and not take things for granted and be happier as a person overall. Everything happens for a reason. It helps us to find silver linings. Sure, one thing can happen, one bad thing can happen. I can fail a midterm, which I didn't. I know my mom is here, so please don't kill me after that. But I know that could teach me that I have to study more or take a better approach on things. Of course, reading all these and taking it at face value doesn't do it justice. I'm sure if I went out one day in the snow and slipped on ice and broke my leg, it didn't happen for a particular reason other than I'm clumsy. Mindsets require thought and buying into and believing into what you actually believe in. But how do I get a mindset? Unfortunately, it doesn't grow on trees. If it did, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys. Instead, mindsets really grow from thoughts and from researching your own goals and values. Taking the time to actually question yourself. What am I doing? Why am I doing this particular thing? Looking at your day-to-day routine. Granted, it's good to have a schedule, but why is it that I'm spending 5 hours a day studying and 2 hours on my phone or anything like that when I could be doing this, X, Y, and Z? Taking the time to really look at your own self really helps with building a mindset. How can a mindset be better than a system, and how do we use them? Well, with a mindset, really you find your task based off what you have and what you believe in. If you believe in taking things one day at a time, you find things where you have to address now. Maybe I forgot to take out the chicken from the freezer, and that would lead me to not get scolded by my mother. Or it can just lead to other things overall and taking it easier on yourself, opposed to just focusing on that one thing you have. But a system really is surrounded under one particular thing, like say school or work. Building a mindset really could help you change your life. And looking deep within yourself really helps you build. So don't be like your phone. Jailbreak from your own system and find a mindset.